I had given this recording the title Childhood Cancer Glamorization because I feel that this is a topic that is rarely ever discussed among interlocutors in the childhood cancer world. As a childhood cancer survivor, it has always befuddled me how helping other people is simply never enough. They feel so self-important and so special that they feel as if they are worthy of praise, attention, notoriety, validation, publicity, and of course the general photo shoot. My question is simply this: why? At my current 34 years of life on this planet, I have spent the past 7 years sharing my story about the 6 months out of 1989 that has affected me for the past 31. When I decided to pick up the mic and speak openly and boisterously about my battle with childhood cancer, it never dawned on me that there were actual people who were more concerned about seeking popularity and garnering tabloid inches than actually raising awareness. Now, you may think that the glamour and awareness are all the same, but you would be wrong about that. And here's why. First off, being glamorous is something that you strive to be. Glamour is something that makes you look pulchritudinous while simultaneously being needy. There are children who fight for their lives every day, wondering where their next meal will come from, wondering how sick they will be from this next round of treatment that they will receive. They worry about death and they're scared that they don't have much time left. And meanwhile, Miss Priss Advocate is more concerned about her fucking eyeshadow. She needs to look her best in front of a camera while being interviewed about sick and dying children. I guess I missed the memo where being sick and dying is a fashion statement. Secondly, it's really strange to me how most of these so-called advocates and activists had this weird fetish about popularity and being featured in magazines and newspapers and films. Childhood cancer isn't a reality show. It's just reality. What I'm about to say will surely get some panties in a knot, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's not about you. You don't get to use a sick and dying kid to make it about yourself. And you ought to be fucking ashamed of yourself for even thinking this way. These kids don't need cheerleaders and Boy Scouts. They need cures. They need medicines and treatments that are safe for them. They need research. They need answers. What they don't need is a narcissistic, self-righteous asshole like you always making it about yourself. I'm sorry that you weren't Mr. and Mrs. Popularity in high school, and now you're preying on the weak and vulnerable and sickly to compensate for what you weren't. But these are sick and dying children. Shame on you for using these kids to make yourself look heroic. The world doesn't revolve around you. I am sick to death of seeing childhood cancer being glamorized and glittered and sparkled up to make it look appealing. I understand that breast cancer awareness overshadows childhood cancer in sheer numbers, and I understand that breast cancer gets far more awareness than childhood cancer in general with merchandise and commercials, and it forces us to work harder to get childhood cancer out there. But let's look at the root cause of that. Number one, these are kids. Children are vulnerable and they seek guidance and approval from adults. As juvenile as this sounds, grown adults will do anything to be the person who, quote-unquote, saves the day. Kids only perceive what they witness, and when childhood cancer awareness turns into a game of cheerleading and heroism, they engage in the very things that these adults should be mature enough to recognize and teach differently, but don't care either way. This is why I say that childhood cancer awareness is a spectator sport. There's far too much competition and navel-gazing for success and achievement. Everyone has to be someone's hero at all times. Number two, saying that childhood cancer is a community instead of calling it what it really is, a demographic, turns into nothing more than a gimmick for attention and popularity. Community, much like family, is what you feel, not what you are. Have you taken a good look at the childhood cancer demographic? With all of the competition comes division, and division fosters a sheep shepherd mentality. You cannot refer to the demographic as a community while simultaneously ousting people that you don't like. The minute you do that, you know absolutely bupkis about what community actually means. Number three, you're not a childhood cancer celebrity. Just because you have hundreds and thousands of followers and you get hundreds and thousands of thumbs and hearts on your Facebook posts, it doesn't make you famous. There should never be any reason why any one person should be made to be bigger than the cause. No one has it worse than the next person because we all share in that pain collectively. When you praise someone and treat them as if they're loyalty, you have officially engaged in the ultimate ass-kissing and ego-stroking fiasco that I've ever witnessed in my life. See, this is why preserving history is so important. We preserve history to keep from making the same mistakes. History is meant to be saved, so we can stand on the shoulders of the earliest pioneers of education. With childhood cancer, that's no different. My case was included in the National Wilms Tumor Study Group, but realistically, that doesn't make me a celebrity. That makes me a statistic. And if you're one of these so-called advocates or activists who's full of yourself, may this be a wake-up call for you. Not all of us feel as if we are special or at the top of an abstract idea as a childhood cancer celebrity. Again, being a celebrity is something you choose. It's something you strive to be. There isn't a single person in the childhood cancer world who ever made a conscious decision to be a natural statistic of the very thing that everyone within that group is shouting about. Now, I didn't choose to be sick as a child. I didn't choose to be put into scary situations. I mean, if you're a parent of a childhood cancer warrior, then you know, for a fact, that even you didn't choose any of this. And the point of this recording is to expose the issue that you aren't above anyone else just because of the strength of your convictions towards raising awareness. You aren't above anyone else just because you have a nonprofit organization. Now, it's easy for you to refer to the demographic as a community, but that's only because you have enough people kissing your ass, stroking your massive ego, and telling you how amazing you are. Is your life really this empty? Are you really this insecure about yourself? Do you really need to be validated for everything you do? Without Facebook, what would you be? No more thumbs, no more hearts? Scary thought for you, isn't it? As a survivor, I can tell you that there is nothing more crippling and heart-wrenching than to see a child struggle with the very things that I had to go through. I've gone on record as saying that I hate my heart because I care so much about people who can never reciprocate that. There's always that part of me, knowing what I've had to go through and knowing what other people have to go through, that makes me want to hug them ever so firmly and to just be there for them. It kills me inside knowing that there are children who are going through situations that I can fully relate to, but to then be shown the door because of a rumor or some kind of gossip that goes around. It eats away at me because I know how much these parents are scared for their kids, and I know how scared these children are. My reasons for raising awareness differs largely from the superficial reasons of others, and those reasons strictly come from my own personal experience. I was never bothered by popularity or attention or photo shoots. And if you've ever noticed, there are no pictures of me during my battle with Wilms. My parents didn't have the need or the desire to stand at bedside and snap pictures of me with a Polaroid one-step. When I ask them why there aren't any pictures in existence of my battle, they reply, because we didn't feel as if your struggles were a show. We didn't want pictures to remind us of how terrible it was for us. And that sounds very accurate and appropriate. Remember how earlier I pointed out that children seek guidance from parents? Well, the same can be said about adults too, which is why I never felt the need to be on television, on the radio, or in the tabloids. Battling a disease isn't fashionable, and there's nothing entertaining about it. Here's something we should glorify: cures. Ah, no cures yet? Okay. Then sit down and shut the fuck up. It's not about you.